The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Amanda Dastu. I am a diplomat in Alberta, Canada. This is actually my first time as hostess the month, and even my first time using the GoToWebinar system. So we're going to have a good time tonight. First, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the call and taking your business seriously. Every Sunday night we have a new topic, new presenter, and it's always very, very exciting. So I would like to take the time to welcome our presenter of the evening. He is an ambassador and shareholder, Singh from Ottawa and Montreal, Canada. He has actually never missed a check since he started 8 years ago, full-time with GWT. He is a multiple award winner from Recognition Awards to the fastest growing organization. So I am excited to start 2017 off with you, Sean, and I will hand the call over to you.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? First of all, Happy New Year to you and Happy New Year to the entire GWT family. Folks, welcome to the call. You know, it has a lot to do with the new year. Now that we're sitting here in 2017, I know that the last couple weeks, the Sunday night calls and the CDSC call had a lot to do with reflection and targets. We talked quite a bit about, how the year went, what is it we want to fine-tune, what is it we want to improve, and of course, what our targets and what we were looking forward to for 2017. Now, of course, with that said, this particular call, what better than to new year, new MO, new method of operation. That's what we're going to cover here today, ladies and gentlemen, because whether you're happy with your 2016 results, whether you think they were mediocre, whether you think they were fantastic, we have a brand new year upon us. And like everyone does their, those New Year's resolutions. Most people, every New Year before the clock hits midnight, we all make these New Year's resolutions. And at the end of the day, it's all about picking a day, basically to choose and decide that we're going to improve something with ourselves, whether it's personally, financially, professionally. So in this case, I said, why not do the same thing when it comes to our business? The difference is this is not a gym membership, but it's a business that can set us for financial freedom for the rest of our lives, for the rest of the next generation's lives as well. Now, I know, like I mentioned, I happen not to be part of it. I got my gym membership in August, so I pre-planned this. But at the same time, I know that tons of people, they've got their gym memberships, or this entire week, this whole month is the busiest time for gyms because everybody decides at this point that, okay, it's time to get fit. Whether it's because they had too much turkey or they just weren't happy, with their fitness results from 2016. They said, this is the time they're going to make it happen. They go and get themselves a gym membership. And of course, they do use it. If not right away, they'll get to use it very quickly. But quickly is pretty much where it ends. You know what? I'm not going to go to the gym, I can tell you right now, for the next couple weeks because I know it is going to be absolutely jam-packed. But at the same time, I know that a couple weeks down the road, it seems like the herd starts thinning. You know what? People, they kind of lose focus or they don't see those immediate results. And next thing you know, they just kind of give up. And, well, there's always next year to make that resolution again. So what we're going to talk about today, new year, new method of operation, new way to conduct your business, and of course with a little bit of consistency, we're going to make 2017 the best year for me, for you, and everybody else listening onto the call here. So first thing I wanted to talk about is target setting. Now target setting, basically whether it was a gym membership or whether it's your business, you got to have a target. Now if you happen just to be doing this business for fun, if you launched your email just to have the products at wholesale pricing, or if you launched it just to be part of the social group, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you being on the call, but you don't really have to pay attention to anything I'm saying here right now. But chances are the vast majority of you on the call, you launched your email with a purpose of basically hitting that financial jackpot, hitting that financial home run. And you can't do that unless we have some targets that we need to hit. Now, they're long-term targets and they're short-term targets as well. We're going to go through kind of the main ones here, and we're going to break them down every step of the way as well. So when it comes to target setting, obviously the first one comes to everybody's mind, including my own, when I got started. And of course, even today, it's still always a big target for me, is income targets. Now, income targets, they're great. I hear a lot of people, including myself when I first got started, what's your income target? Where is it you want to be, 6 months from now, a year from now? And we tend to all have the same response, believe it or not. I've heard it so many times. It's a number, it's such a crazy big number, but you hear it so many times, we've seen it happen so many times, that it becomes almost something that anybody and everybody can do by tomorrow. There's a little bit of work involved, but that target, I'm sure you guys have all heard it, is $10,000 a month. My income target, $10,000 a month. Now, of course, $10,000 a month is a great target. You know what? By then, you have a mature business, a successful business that's continually growing, a $10K a month coming in month after month after month. So it is a great target as well. And we're going to talk about the work needed to get to that target. But first things first, if you have a pen and paper in hand, which I'm sure you do being on the Sunday night webinar, first thing you want to do is write down your income target. How much is it you want to make and by when? Now, I know that it is January 1st, 2017, but really, ladies and gentlemen, right now what we're doing, we're talking about December 31st, 2017. We're talking about where is it you want to be by the end of this year. Now, I know we just finished celebrating the holidays. We just had an amazing new year wherever you are in the world, and we're already talking about the end of the year because we're going to work it a little bit backwards today. Where is it you want to be by the end of the year? Once we have that grand total, that big jackpot number, we're going to break that down, of course, when it comes to work, and what is it we need to be doing from December, November, October, September, all the way to today and tomorrow. So we talk about income targets, great. Write down your income target. How much is it you want to be making monthly with Global Wealth Trade? And really, think about in December. What is it you want your December 2017 to be? And again, we'll work backwards from there. Now, again, by when? You might have a target of $5,000 a month, or maybe $1,000 a month, or maybe $100,000 a month. Whatever your target is, in the next year or so, in the next 5 years, you want to write that down. And from there, when you see that target, now you know you have something to aim for. And with the time you have allotted to you, you can break down the amount of work needed, not from here and 10 years from now, but of course what we need to do from this week onwards to make sure we hit those targets, if not blow right through them. Now, of course, these targets are key. It's something that you want to focus on day in, day out. It's something that's going to motivate you to continue to work even on those days you don't want to. We'll talk about stuff like that soon, but let's just remember one thing here. Let's go back to the whole gym membership thing. I've always wondered how come so many people, they get the gym memberships right around now, but you know what, before the spring even hits, all of a sudden the gyms are back to empty again. You know what, a lot of it has to do, what I think is, people expect instant results. So they want to go to the gym, next thing you know, they want to come out like a swimsuit model within about a week and a half. Now, like anything else in life, it takes a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, and also takes a little bit of time as well. Now here with GWT, to have a successful, mature business, you know what, it takes a little bit of time as well. The good news is we do have some instant results you can get right off the bat too. When we talk about retail sales and wholesale profits, those crazy wholesale profits, you know what, here you get to have those instant results as you work towards those targets as well. So income targets, how much is it you want month after month, by when, and from there what you want to do is break down what you need to be making month after month after month until you hit that target. So, and of course, we will talk a little bit about the work of getting there shortly here. And the next type of targets we're going to talk about is, of course, your CDSE targets. Now, folks, I do apologize if you hear a baby laughing uncontrollably or running and possibly you hear banging on a door. It's because I'm locked away here in my office. It's her bedtime, but she can't really sleep when I'm doing a webinar, so she's excited, wondering what's going on. So I apologize for that. But again, CDSE targets here. Basically, this is the best way I could put it for you. What perks are you aiming for? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what the CDSE is all about. You know what? It's about you going out there, you're working the way you work, you're earning the way you earn, but at the same time, you have these added perks. It's that lifestyle that goes along with it here. So again, we're talking about from cruises to vacations to luxury and exotic cars. You know, these are the perks we're talking about here. On top of the perk that, imagine, 2% global revenue sharing. You know, it's incredible here. So these are the perks we're talking about. Now, when it comes to CDSE targets, one thing we always need to remember is any and all of the CDSE levels, whether you're diplomat, ambassador, regional, national, or global, they all involve helping somebody basically rise up. In fact, every level of our CDSC, to get to the next step, means you need to help somebody else to get to where you just were. So again, if you come to think about your income targets, you match them with your CDSC targets, you know that if you want to hit a certain level when it comes to your income, basically means you're going to have to help a lot of people to do exactly what you're doing here. So of course, again, to say for number one, number two, your income targets, your CDSC targets, you have them in mind, you know what you do, you know what you want to do, you know by when you want to do them. Now you have a rough idea of how to do them, which means that helping a lot of other people achieve those same targets as well. And I can tell you folks, one of the best ways to get it out there, how to help somebody else, is by sharing what we're talking about here right now with your brand new member or your very old member and everybody in between. You know what, this is a perfect time of year as we're doing our target settings and looking to achieve these targets, is by sharing with them what your income target is for this year, by when, and of course what your CDSE target is. Where exactly do you want to be within the next 3 months or the next 6 months, between now and convention, between now and the end of the year. Share with them, inspire them, and let them know that you'll be there to help them every step of the way as well. Of course, it kind of ties in what we're talking about here, your team targets. Basically, where else can you take your business, any kind of business, especially here, you can literally build it locally and grow it globally by expanding your territory. Now, again, could be from, I'm today here in Montreal, I live here in Montreal, I'm originally from Ottawa, but all it took was me helping one other person to see the vision of global wealth trade, and guess what, here we are today. A bulk of my business comes from right here in the province of Quebec. So your team targets, how big do you want the team to be today? If you have no team, we want a team. That could be your target. But let's put some actual numbers with it as well. If you have a team of 100 people, are you looking to double that this year, triple that, quadruple that? You know what, do you want to 10 times bigger? And when it comes to expansions, so, we have a big business here in Montreal. Quebec City is not far. You know what, we're looking to expand in Quebec City as well. We have all the tools like we do for many other languages as well. And, it's very easy for us to expand. Now, at the same time, we have these very free, useful tools available to each and every one of us today at the touch of our fingers, on our phones, all these different social media platforms that can help your expansion to different locations, basically anywhere in the world where they have phones and computers. In fact, you'll see from a lot of the, a lot of the top earners in the company, a lot of their expansion has come over social media, from as far as somebody seeing a YouTube video launching and then basically opening up an Asian market as well. So we have all these tools to our disposal. We'll talk a little bit about how to use them as well a little bit later. But again, have your targets in place. Have your team targets. How big do you want the team to be here today? Generally, mine has always been, this year I want my team to be double the size it was of last year. But folks, let me tell you, it is 2017. The company is over 10 years old now. To double will basically mean that it was a mediocre flat year. So I can promise you for one thing, when it comes to your team targets, you should be looking towards some exponential growth in your team targets. And I promise you, if you are putting these targets down for yourself as well, these explosions of growth in your teams, you're sharing that with everybody you know as well, it's going to happen for you at the same time. Now, of course, personal targets. Despite everything we've talked about so far, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most important, your personal targets. Because if you don't have personal targets, the other three, they're kind of, you're hoping that it's going to happen. You're kind of wishful thinking that it's going to happen here. In fact, your personal targets will dictate all the others, from income to your CDSE targets to your team targets. So if your personal targets are big, guess what? The rest will fall into place. If you have massive personal targets that you want to achieve, guess what? Your income is going to take care of itself. Your CDSE targets are going to take care of itself. Your team targets are going to take care of themselves. If you have no personal targets, like I mentioned, then, we're just kind of talking away here. It's wishful thinking, and every night we pray that something's going to magically happen in our business. So your people will always do what you do. So again, in this case, you definitely want to let, whether it's a new person, a brand new person, or with an LC you've been with for over a decade here, let them know, if anything, what your personal targets are. So we talk about personal targets We've had a major shift when it comes to retail in phase 6. So your PV, your personal volume. You know what? We have absolutely everything available to us to do some massive retail sales. I know some folks who took it very seriously in the last couple months. They started really in mid-October, and their focus was really PV, who have put an extra thousands upon thousands of dollars in their pocket, not from team building, from wholesale profits, that was already there, but strictly from retail sales and personal volume. The amount of sales some folks made that I would never guess this person would make sales. I've known them for 6 or 7 years. I've never seen them make a retail sale. But, you know, with all the tools that they have, with everything available to them and the product we have today, it was easy for them. They just had to go out and do it. So PV, what are your personal targets, you know, for the year? What's your personal target for today? The next big event coming up really for PV is Valentine's Day. What is your personal PV target for Valentine's Day? And if you share that with everyone you know, guess what? You're going to hit some massive retail sales and some massive retail profits in your pocket as well. When it comes to sponsoring personally, what is your target? You know what, your income target, it's great, and as long as you're doing the work, you're going to get there regardless. Your team target is great, but if you're relying on everybody else to grow the team for you, again, it's kind of wishful thinking. Here, you are literally paid for the value you bring. The more value you can bring, whether it's through PV or personal sponsoring, you know, it's going to directly reflect in your income and your team growth and where you are in the CDSC. So when it comes to personal sponsors, you know, one of the best examples we can give you these days is Ambassador Maxwell. If you, I might be mistaken, he might already be a regional. I'm actually not even sure at this point. But you know what? This gentleman, his targets, it's all about personal targets. His personal targets, all when it comes to personally sponsoring, you know what, that's all about that. And he helps other people do the exact same thing. That's why he's had such massive success. The fastest person to 100 people personally sponsored. You know, absolutely amazing. If you ever get a chance, hang out with him for a day, see what he does during the day, kind of ties into what we're going to talk about a little bit later here. But your personal sponsors, you have to set that target up for yourself, and the forensic will tell you at the exact same time. If you're part-time or full-time, you already know what your targets are when it comes to personally sponsoring, and of course the work that goes along with that, from the amount of dialings you need to do, the amount of appointments. So having your personally sponsored targets. Now, of course, you know what, some folks, they do it all for the year. Some folks will say, I'd like to sponsor 50 people for the year. Now, of course, when you break that down, you know, now you know exactly what you need to be doing every single month. You know exactly what you need to be doing every single week. Now you know exactly what you have to do every single day, whether part-time or a full-time basis, to hit those targets here. So these personal targets, ladies and gentlemen, very important. This will really dictate, you know, the speed of your business here. We always say the speed of the leader is speed of the pack, so pay close attention to your own personal targets, and I promise you, when you focus on those and you're hitting those targets, everything else will fall into place. Becoming a trainer, we talk about this quite a bit. Once you become part of the CDSC, you know what, it's kind of like you're already there. More and more you're learning how to become a trainer for the simple fact that, you know what, as your team starts to grow as well, you need to be able to train them. So again, here, becoming a trainer, I know for some people they do set this as a personal target because they have that, I'll go ahead and say it's a little lame of an excuse. Sometimes folks say that they're shy. Well, you know what, get over it. Simple as that. We'll help you to overcome it. Become a trainer, work with your folks, help your other people rise up as well. And of course, I put this down as well, receiving an award at convention. This should be a personal target for everybody who's on the call here tonight. What a feeling then to be recognized globally out of every LC on that stage in convention that's coming up a few months away now. You know what, it's absolutely incredible. The beautiful trophy you get to put up, whether it's in your home, in your office, for everyone to see. Recognition for what? Really, it's recognition for the work you've been doing based on your personal targets. Simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got our target setting here matched up, and I know folks probably from last week and the week before, they've been doing quite a bit of this, and I hope we were able to help them kind of break it down a bit more. You know, break it down from this massive target to what do we need to do today to hit that massive target. And again, most importantly, is your personal. Now, as we go forward, let's talk a little bit about now target achieving. Targets are great. You know what? We can talk about somebody with a bow and arrow. They're in a contest and they can see the target, which is great. Now they have the target in front of them, but if they don't pick up the bow, if they don't pick up the arrow, and you know what? They don't actually shoot the arrow. Well, nothing's going to come out of it. They're just going to be sitting here looking at the target. So we've established one now. We have our targets. We know exactly what we want. We know when we want it by. So what is it we have to do to make sure we hit those targets, if not blow through them? The very first one, ladies and gentlemen, I can promise you, if you can stick to this, the first two, you will have a majorly successful business here for years and years to come. The very first one, which including myself, I had a tough time doing because I couldn't really understand it when I first got started, which I know a lot of people, they have a tough time doing for some reason, is setting your schedule. And I'll leave a nice little pause there to give you an idea how important it is. Set your schedule. What is your schedule? Now, I know folks will tell me, well, you know what, Sean, I work shift work. I don't know exactly when it's going to be. Well, set your schedule. You know, if it's, you know, if this week it's only Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday you can do your business, well, congratulations. That is your schedule. You know it, week or 2 weeks in advance, that is going to be your schedule. Now, I know for the folks who are full-time with this business, it's very simple, but it's very hard at the same time because we have all day to conduct our business. And all day sometimes will pass and it says, you know what, well, I always have tomorrow as well. Ladies, that doesn't work here. We only have today to get all this done because we want to enjoy tomorrow, okay? You need to set your schedule. You know, my personal sponsor, actually two-time President's Cup Award winner, National Ambassador, Mr. Reza Mascarlu, I learned my schedule really from him. By the time we both went full-time, I was fairly new to the industry as well. Honestly, I thought, okay, we're home free now. You know, we're full-time, basically jackpot. Nothing left to do. Only later on I realized that, no, this is where the real fun and the real work starts, you know. And you can even see him today, that his schedule, he will tell you anytime you ask him, he calls it his office hours. Now, his office could be in his massive office that he has in the basement of his gorgeous home, but a lot of the time, it'll be from his kitchen table. He works his office hours from noon until 4 p.m. every single day. So from Monday to Friday, you know that if you need a three-way call, if you want to have a quick training call with him, or anything else, you know, between 12 and 4, absolutely he's reachable unless he's actually on another call. 12 till 4, Monday through Friday. 20 hours a week of office hours. That does include, you know, I know every Tuesday I see him at our Ottawa weekly tour. We see him here in Montreal every Wednesday at our Montreal tours. Those are his office hours. That what is he doing? He's making his phone calls. He's making his prospecting calls, his closing calls, his three-way calls. He's going out prospecting. Sometimes it's over social media that he's prospecting, sending videos off to, creating curiosity. This is where all the major work gets done here, between 12 and 4, Monday to Friday. That's his office hours. It works perfect for him. Now, I know another top earner, our youngest millionaire of the company, Mr. Rene Liao, this guy, man, you know what? $100,000 a month, well-deserved, ladies and gentlemen, because I can tell you his office hours, at least Monday to Friday, is the moment the kids go to school, he is at work. He is at work on his $100,000 a month business. And the moment the kids are done school, you know, he picks them up, hangs out, dinner, bath time, puts them to bed. Next thing you know, tour time. So you know what? This gentleman, he's got his office hours throughout the majority of his day, Monday to Friday. Hey, I get the same time. It's a lot different than going into work for somebody else. Here, when you have your schedule, you're working for yourself, never by yourself. You have a lot of fun with it at the same time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a reason why the Rezas and the Renes of this company have a schedule, and if there's ever a chance you want to be there at that point, or forget even that point, if you want to be at a fraction of that point, trust me, you need a schedule. Now, that means what you're going to do on a daily basis. What is it you're going to be doing on a weekly basis? And, of course, that all translates down to a monthly basis. And if you follow the forensic system, you'll be able to track every day that you work, every week, and every month, and you can see the work you've done, for the results you've gotten, and possibly where you need to fine-tune the work that you're doing here. Set your schedule. If you don't have one today, by the time this call finishes, ladies, if you do anything else today, if you do anything else in the whole of 2017, set your schedule, okay? Now, number two, this is the tough part. Believe it or not, number one, Number one is the easy part. We can all set our schedules. I've done it before. I've set my schedule, and I had a tough time with number two here, is keep to your schedule, okay? It requires a little bit of discipline. But again, this is more important than number one, is keeping to your schedule. And the best way I can put it, ladies and gentlemen, is this. For those of you, you're working right now, maybe full-time or part-time at a job, whether you've been there 1 day, 1 month, 10 years, it doesn't matter. But I have a question for you. If you stop going for a week, would they still let you come back the week after? It's as simple as that. With this business, it's the same thing. Set your schedule, okay? If you can put 6, 7 hours a week, great. Now let's keep to those 6, 7 hours a week. But again, if you're going to set a schedule for 30 hours a week, but you end up doing 2, well then let's be realistic. Set your schedule for 2 hours a week and keep to that schedule of 2 hours a week so we can actually get results from those 2 hours a week and not feel down and demotivated from not keeping to any kind of schedule at all here. So number one, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hit any one of those targets we were talking about earlier, setting your schedule, most importantly, is keeping to your schedule. Now, the beautiful part is whether it's making prospecting calls, tours, live tours, webinar tours, sending out videos. Number 3 here is taking a lot of our schedule and really made it very efficient now here. We have so many different tools at our disposal that what used to take a couple hours can now get done in a handful of minutes, and you can still get the same results when it comes to business here. You know, when it comes to our PV, one of the best ways of creating personal volume, ladies and gentlemen, is get onto the GWT promo site, spend the money, and get yourself some lookbooks and our Posh catalogs. Lookbooks, Posh catalogs, a nice sticker on the back with all your info. If you start handing those out on a regular basis, now somewhere in your schedule should be that you're going to be handing out some lookbooks, you know what, you're going to get some retail sales week after week after week. And what ends up happening is you make so many, get so many different referrals, you end up sometimes getting residual retail sales where you have no idea that was happening, but you see the retail profits soon after. So utilize the tools to make your schedule as efficient as possible so you're having a good time, you're having a fun time, and you're still earning, putting cash in your jeans at the same time. The new email kits. I know at our last conference in Toronto, these things were on the verge of selling out because the folks that saw them, they understood the true power of them. So whether it's for a brand new LC, congratulations, here's a new email kit, or of course to a prospect who's about to see the tour, just finished seeing the tour. This is the documentation that beats the conversation right here. You can always send them home with this. And of course, the webinars as we have here right now, of course tonight is a training webinar, but I know multiple times a week, on the weekends, during the weekdays, all different hours, there are webinar tours happening from all across the globe. When I say that, I mean that if the person, if you want them to hear it in an Australian accent, congratulations, you can link them up to one of their webinars. French accent, you can link them up to one of the webinars, but they can see the tour in a multiple different languages, multiple different accents here, and of course, basically having somebody else to help you do the business with you here. Now we have tons of different videos. We have the new promo video, you know, in a handful of minutes, creates a lot of curiosity, creates a lot of excitement to get people onto these webinars or the live tours. Scripts. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not using scripts, start using scripts. That's the best way I can put it for you. It is the most duplicatable way of doing this business, of training how to do this business, is using scripts. Whether it's for prospecting, whether it's for doing the tour, scripts will literally become your best friend, because as you're using the scripts, you notice the more and more that you use them, you won't sound so much robotic, but it just comes naturally to you at a point where we've all been caught where somebody asks you, well, what is it that you do? And next thing you know, we always kind of fumble a response when we get caught off guard. But if you use these scripts often enough, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes second nature to you. And you know what? If you've ever seen our CEO and founder in action, you'll understand he's the creator of the script. You'll understand the power of these scripts. It is the perfect response each and every time. Or when you're doing a prospecting call, the scripts basically cover every angle to get these folks to come out and see the presentation here. So use the script and have your people use the scripts as well. If you do, they will as well. It's going to duplicate. And of course, most importantly, this is what keeps you accountable day in and day out, ladies and gentlemen, is your forensic box. Now this forensic box over here, it can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. I've just picked mine up over here right now. And I'm happy to say that today we're actually very good friends. In fact, during the holidays, I'm looking through the dates here, we've been fairly good friends today. And I want to keep it that way because I know that when I open this box and we're not very good friends, you know what, there's a direct correlation to my business as well, my business activity. This box, ladies and gentlemen, not only does it track everything that you do, if you happen to miss a day, if you caught a sick day from your schedule and your business, you know what, it'll help you to keep track of everything that you missed out on. And on top of the fact, it is organized. It is organized. You know, you might have a list book. It works great. You might have your contacts in your phone. It may work great for you. But once you transfer everything into this DMO, your forensic DMO box, you've gone from amateur to professional. That's what it's really all about here. It'll make sure you stick to your schedule because the box knows what days you're working and what days you're not because you've already pre-arranged that. And it's going to make sure you've done the work you were supposed to. And again, at the same time, if you use the forensic sheets as well, the weekly tracking sheets and the monthly, you know what, you'll know exactly what you need to fine-tune in your business as well. So again, utilize the tools to help you stick to your schedule so you can stick to your targets as well. And of course, most importantly, again, utilize the team. We always talk that this is a business where you work for yourself, but not by yourself. There are tons of people willing and able to help you every step of the way here. Now, one of the great parts is if you have a local tour in your area, you should be at that local tour every single week. It's where you're going to get all the updated info. You're going to see all the brand new products that people have ordered and put on display. And at the same time, a lot of these local tours feature your local leaders as well. So they could be some of your top income earners, some of your ambassadors or regionals or above in your local area. And sometimes I know for a lot of different tours, especially here in Canada as well, you happen to have the millionaires of the company. I know we've got Sherry in California. You know what? They use it big time. You got one of the millionaires of the company coming to see you at the tour in California. So utilize that as well when you can at your local tours. And if by chance you're too far, well, you know what? We always have the three-way call system as well. Now, everybody who's on the call here today should have their My5. These are, 5 of the most qualified people that can work with you every step of the way here. Three-way calls, if you know how to use them, ladies and gentlemen, your business will become a breeze. If you don't know how, get in touch with your My5 ASAP. And if you do know how and you're not using them, well, literally, you're kind of hindering your business right from the get-go here. You know, instead of being stuck in first and second gear, let's start cruising in fifth and sixth. That's what the three-way call is all about. To give you guys an example, there's been times when I'm inviting a networker to come and see our local tour where we haven't really talked business much. I just share the story of my upline, my sponsor, Reza Masgalu. And what I do is I share such a story. This gentleman's been around the industry for so long. I relate it back to what they're telling me, the prospect is telling me, that they just want to come and meet Reza. You know, so I've scheduled a live three-way call. And from there, he knows exactly what to say, how to say it. We see the tour, we break down the comp plan. Please welcome our brand new LC. But I've used it to the point where, you know, the three-way call is even more important than the tour sometimes. So again, we have tons of different trainings on that as well. But most importantly, talk to your My5 so you can set up these three-way calls. And again, you always want to do them in advance. Your My5 will take care of that for you, show you exactly how to go about it. Now, we talked about target setting. We talked about target achieving. Now let's talk about the year ahead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the year ahead, it is a brand new year for Global Wealth Trade. And as every year before that, you know what, it's going to be a record year as well. The question is it going to be a record year for you as well? That's really I know for me, my target is always to make this year miles better than the past year. Now, whether that means even a 2% improvement in something I do myself, I know we're going to make it happen. So the question is, you got to do the same thing. You know, I was thinking about this just before the holidays after hearing a webinar with Ambassador Maxwell. And so I wrote this question here. I know there's some folks on the call. We have some regionals. We have some nationals on the call. But who's going to be the first global ambassador? Ladies and gentlemen, you know it's going to happen this year. Now, it's just a matter for all of you on the call, who is it going to be? You know what? There is no global ambassador here right now, so whoever hits this, that is the record right there. That's going to be the first global ambassador. Who's going to win top sponsor of the year? Now we know we have convention coming up, so the top sponsor, top retailer will be awarded. But after convention, there's a whole brand new year. You know what? For 2017, who's going to be the top sponsor? For 2017, who's going to be the top retailer? Basically, it's available to every one of us, ladies and gentlemen. Sure, maybe you're sitting at the 0 mark right now, but there's 364 or so days left ahead of us to make some substantial changes to our lifestyle here. Now, we know people that have done it in a matter of 3-4 months. In fact, I know I think this past weekend, there's a brand new record for the fastest diplomat. I think it's something like 4 minutes now. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is doable. When you look around, there's people doing it all around us. Now, it's just a matter of, taking it to your own flavor. How is it that you're going to do it? Well, you set your targets. That is great. Now, achieving those targets, that's where the work is involved. That's what we talk about. I guess that was really the most important part of tonight's call, is setting your schedule, using the tools, keeping that schedule, working with the folks around you, whether it's your My5 upline, downline, sideline, to help hit those targets as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover here on the call tonight. Again, it's a brand new year for us. It's a brand new year for me, for each and every one of you on the call. At this point, why don't you write down what's going to be your first that you're going to achieve personally this year? And of course, we're always here to help you as well. But at this point, if we do have any questions, I will pass the call back to our wonderful host, Amanda. Amanda, if you have any questions or comments, of course, I'm always here on the line if we need anything.
All right. Wow. That was exciting. We actually do have one question that actually just came in here from Destiny. So she's asking, how do you know who your team is? So do you want to answer that, Sean?
Yeah, of course. So definitely, just to make nice and clear here, are you looking to see who your My5 is or who your entire downline is?
I would say she's brand new, so I would say who her upline is, maybe.
Upline is, well, you know what? When you get in contact with the person who's introduced you to the business, they will link you up. Very surprisingly, you'll see that with some of the top people in our entire company here. So it's just simple a matter of getting in touch with your personal sponsor, get in touch with your enroller, or if you haven't launched your mall yet, get in touch with the person who's sharing the opportunity with you. And of course, they're going to link you up with what I was talking about, your My5. So to give you an idea, we talk about team. It's like we don't want to see who's on the team, right? Do I have Wayne Gretzky on my team? Do I have Kobe Bryant on my team? Well, ladies and gentlemen, when you see your My5, every My5 has a Kobe Bryant. Every My5 is covered. You have your Wayne Gretzky there. But get in touch with that person. You'll see exactly who that is. You'll be able to work with them. That's most important. It's one thing to know who they are. It's another thing when you get to work with them on a regular basis as well to help you achieve your targets.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So that's the only question we have. We just have a couple other comments saying that they are listening and awesome job and woohoo. So thanks everybody for the comments. And so if that's all for you, Sean, then we can show some of the slides for coming up here in 2017.
Yeah, I know we've got some great announcements, some great things happening, so I'll pass it back off to you there.
Awesome. All right. So we are going to start my slideshow. And let's minus this, or let's see, no, we don't want to cancel it. Okay, oh, maybe that didn't work. Let's get rid of it there. Okay, so we have coming up in Ottawa, we have our branding tour with Rebecca and Stephanie on Tuesday, January 3rd at the GWT Ottawa office. And then we have our exciting 3 days left before our Tuesday night New Year's webinar. I was on the webinar last year, so I definitely know it is exciting and it's a must-attend event. So everybody who's on the call tonight, make sure you register right now, right as soon as you get off, so you get a line for that call that night. And, get a hold of every single of your first generation, second generation. You're not going to want to miss the call. We're going to be talking about what happened in 2016 and, of course, what's coming up in 2017. So, Sean, do you have anything to add to this?
You know what? It's crazy. This is the one webinar of the year where sometimes we've crashed the webinar system, ladies and gentlemen. There's only 1,000 lines available. And I know you're probably thinking, okay, well, that's a lot of lines. Last year, we ran out of lines. And that, with that being said, I know a lot of folks, what they do is they'll get into massive groups. I know myself, I'll be at the Ottawa office for our weekly tour. The Ottawa office is going to be jam-packed full of all of our old members, all of our brand new members, and the prospects who've just seen the tour, they will be sticking around for the call as well. I know there's some prospects that can't make the tour. They're coming strictly just to hear this webinar on Tuesday night. So do your best to get into as many and as big groups as you can. Bring your prospects along for the ride, ladies and gentlemen, because I promise you, it is going to be one heck of a ride, this webinar. I promise you that.
Yes, absolutely. In Alberta, we have a whole bunch of team members that are getting together, hosting it at their house. So don't be afraid to get together with your first, second, your entire generation, and watch the webinar together. So it is at 9:15 Eastern on Tuesday, January the 3rd. All right, then we also have our Edmonton, Alberta weekly tour. It's every Wednesday night, January 4th. We have Kelly, Tamara, and Eva hosting that in Edmonton, Alberta. We have Toronto, which is also Wednesday night, January 4th, with Brian. So that is at the Markham Suites Hilton in Toronto. So definitely check that out. And then we have Vernisha in St. Lucia. That is Wednesday the 4th. At the Castries Central Library. So if you're in St. Lucia, you're definitely going to want to check out this tour that Vernisha is putting on. And then in Abuja, we have a weekend tour. So this is Saturday, January 7th with Kafina at the Divention Holding Building. So you definitely want to get to check out that. Registration is at 11:30 and starts at 12 noon. And that's in Abuja. And then we have our power tour in Niagara Falls, which is Tuesday, January 10th with Nora. And actually they have their guest speaker, which is no other than our CEO, Ramin himself. So you're definitely wanting to get all your guests, prospects, anybody you can think of to come to this event on Tuesday, January 10th if you live in the Niagara Falls area. And then we have Alberta tour. We actually have both Sherry Zhao and Abdulia coming up to Alberta Thursday night, January 19th in Calgary, and then Friday, January 20th in Edmonton. So if you know anybody in Edmonton, driving distance, definitely get them in front of Karen, Aaron, Teresa, and Tamara for our Alberta tour. And now this was just released just before our call tonight. So this is exciting. This is in the lookbook for anybody who has our lookbook, our wonderful tools that we have. This just got released today. So is Fena, I'm not even sure how to exactly pronounce that, but it is absolutely beautiful with the purses and the shoes. So that is absolutely exciting. You can shop now in your back office. And then we have launch your new business right with the perfect product kit. So this is for a one-time offer in your back office. You can get these $200 kits or these $400 kits at a discount for $93 for the 200 and then $193 for the $400 kit. And you can get one pack. And this is good for trade shows, branding parties, home parties for you to wear, showcase, sell. So definitely make sure you utilize that in your back office and get one of those kits. And then we have our annual convention coming up in March. So the March 23rd to the 25th in Niagara Falls. Obviously there's going to be tons of product releases, training. There's the gala and awards night, a little bit of the forensic networking training on Friday. Mega Tour is the Thursday night, so you can invite all your guests. You're definitely not going to want to miss this. We have a lot of people flying in from Australia and other countries, so it doesn't matter where you are. I do know, talking about, visas, if you're coming in from some of those other countries, that you need to get that in ASAP. Like that needs to be done, tomorrow. So talk to your My5 about that, but you definitely want to be there for our international convention. And tickets right now are $249. So even when you get off this webinar, go into your back office and order your ticket, because the ticket prices are going to be going up on January 30th. So 4 weeks left to get it for the $249. Then it'll be up to the $299. And product releases, the gala. You know, if you are just coming just for the gala and awards, that is a $99 ticket. So if you want to bring your spouse, they can even just come for the awards and gala night. And of course, we were just talking about, you know, one of your targets should be that you want to be up on stage getting an award. So you definitely would want your, you know, your spouse or significant other with you as well. And then GWT is closed tomorrow, Monday, January 2nd, and we'll be opening again on January 3rd. So they took a little bit of a holidays for the New Year's, which is nice. And Happy New Year 2017 from all the GWT Corp staff and management. And then thank you, you know, Global Wealth Trade family. So I just want to say thank you so much, Sean, for presenting tonight all the, you know, amazing nuggets, writing down your targets, achieving your targets. You know, your next target really should be to hit Diplomat so you can be on our CDS call tomorrow night. So make that your next target to hit so you can be with us on the call tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. So that's it for announcements, unless you have anything else, Sean.
No, I just want to say again, Happy New Year to the GWT family. Happy New Year to you, Amanda. And you know what? For your first time hosting, moderating a webinar, I got to say, fantastic job, young lady. Look forward to doing this with you all month long.
All right. Thank you so much.